All right, Patriots, listen up. These schools are out of control. These school boards are out of control. And these teachers' unions are absolutely out of control. And it's time we did something about it, isn't it? Our kids, folks, our very own children are at risk every day. That critical race theory and woke ideology are allowed to exist in any school or institution in the United States. And with that being said, getting rid of this pestilence requires two simple things: nationally repairing the family unit and coming together as parents and patriots to choke out CRT in the court of law and in one Massachusetts court district. All right, one Massachusetts school district, parents like you and me did just that. Parents like you and me are fighting back. Check out this article in the Epic Times called "Parents Group Sues Massachusetts School District Over Racial Segregation and Abuse of Students." All right, like I said earlier, this stuff is happening all across the country, all across Western civilization. It's spreading like the bubonic plague, spreading like a virus, like an actual, real pandemic. Information is power. And like I've said many times, don't let them take away your right to be informed. Also, don't take the right away from yourself by choosing to remain uninformed. It's our responsibility to save this country, and it's time we start acting like it, folks, because stuff like what I'm about to read you is actually happening. Regardless of how many times Obama screams that it isn't, closes his eyes, and wishes the news story away into the cornfield, this stuff is real, and it's happening right in your backyard. It says that a national parents group filed a federal civil rights lawsuit against a public school district in Massachusetts for allegedly violating the U.S. Constitution by racially segregating students into affinity groups and imposing a student speech code. The lawsuit comes as parents in the education establishment across the United States are battling over critical race theory and the systemic racism that leftists argue plagues the nation. The article continues. Under the guise of racial equity, WPS sponsors and organizes racial affinity group meetings that welcome some students but exclude others, based solely on the race and their ethnicities of the students involved. This racial segregation policy runs afoul of the 14th Amendment to the Constitution and Title VI of the Civil Rights Act, the complaint states. WPS released a 5-year equity strategic plan in 2020 that committed the school district to pursue justice for historically marginalized communities, continuously examine systems of privilege and bias, work collectively to disrupt and dismantle inequity in all its forms, and achieve racial equity. Good luck with that. 1, 2, 3, 4, how many times are they going to hit on that keyword for socialism, that keyword for hate, that keyword for racism? You know the word. You know what word I'm talking about. Equity. It's a fake word. It's a fake word that the left made up to describe some matrix-like reality where everyone is magically getting along, where everything is magically fair. Nobody owns anything. Nobody wants anything. And everyone's apparently happy. You know, the snake oil potion that those Great Reset folks like to sell those dumb people over there. To accomplish this equity, the district announced it would create affinity spaces for students with shared identity in order to nurture and affirm positive racial identity development under what the district called its new racial affinity group policy. Racial affinity groups and affinity spaces were formed. The policy is inherently exclusionary. The complaint states, according to WPS, a racial affinity group is an opportunity for people with an identity group to openly share their experiences without the risk of feeling like they will offend someone from another group and without another group's voices. And if you thought that that was bad enough, listen to this one. WPS also punishes students' speech that it deems bias, which includes any student speech it considers offensive, has an impact on others, treats other persons differently, or demonstrates conscious or unconscious bias. The speech code, according to the legal complaint, violates the First and 14th Amendments, as well as the Massachusetts Students' Freedom of Expression law. So did you catch that? Students are punished for conscious or unconscious, keyword unconscious, bias. Meaning that anything the school decides you're doing wrong, even if you don't know you're doing it, is a punishable offense. They are so insane that they're literally saying that they will make everything fair for everyone by treating everyone unfairly. It makes absolutely no sense. Again, we're two different tribes with two very, very different sets of core values. To me, this is child abuse. I mean, don't you think so? If you're listening to the show, you probably do. But wait, there's more. The complaint provides examples of harsh treatment of students thought to hold conservative opinions. You've got to be kidding me. If this was any other point in modern American history, any other point, I just wouldn't believe it. This article continues with the startling truth. The children of a person identified as Parent C are afraid to speak freely in class. One of those children is said to have been held by a teacher after class because the child mentioned that the parent was a conservative. The teacher lectured the student about why the parent's views should change. One of the same parent's children was reported to have been physically assaulted in a school hallway by classmates after the assailants discovered that Parent C had voted for Donald Trump in the presidential election. A guidance counselor is said to have dismissed the child's concerns because the perpetrators were minority students. Privilege. Other students routinely yell at and berate a fellow student whenever the student expresses conservative beliefs or speaks in support of Republican politicians. The student's teacher is present while this occurs but does not intervene and appears to agree. The teacher agrees with the aggressor students. Wow. So kids are getting beat up. They're getting their butts kicked. Kids are being humiliated. Kids are being viciously shamed. And kids are being told that their parents are liars, that they're evil, that they're wrong, that they're crazy. Does anyone else see the hypocrisy here? For years and years, the left acted holier than thou as they continuously gaslighted everyone around them. Everyone who isn't a New Age liberal, a progressive soy boy, or an illegal immigrant is undesirable. They're an undesirable blemish in their socialist utopia fantasy world. Their socialist dreamland, their Shangri-La of socialism. I can't even believe that this stuff is real. I really can't. Like, we're going through it, right? We're being strong. We're fighting. We're doing what we have to do. But at the same time, it's so surreal. It feels like a movie. It feels like a movie. Never in my life, and never in any of your lives, have we ever been through anything like this. It's crazy. It's crazy. Over the years, the left has continuously cried out. They've denounced body shaming and culture shaming and all kinds of shaming and all kinds of violence and what they consider bullying. But the truth of the matter is that the most notorious bullies, the most notorious shamers, haters, humiliators, liars are all Democrats. And that's a fact, Jack. There are parents' movements sprouting up all over the country and in every state, from Virginia to Massachusetts and beyond. Parents from sea to shining sea are sick and tired of being sick and tired, for real, and they aren't taking anyone's crap anymore. And neither should you. I'm telling you, I'm not going to take any crap anymore. And what's stopping you? Tell me, what's stopping you from forming an alliance of parents working together to fight off wokeness and critical race theory in schools in your area, huh? What's stopping patriots like you and me from pooling some of our resources together and maybe affecting some real change in this country through some local and legal processes? What's stopping us? Why can't we take the system back and change it for the better? Look, the left doesn't want you to know this. But the truth is that we can change the system from the inside out, and all we have to do is work together, work hard, believe in the truth, believe in justice, and believe in the American way. And the American way means that you overcome all obstacles, no matter the cost. You preserve our way of life for our kids, for our grandkids, and for ourselves, period. We'll be right back to close the show in just a minute. Stay tuned.